Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists. On today we have Ollie Roberts' list, which he used to go X-1 at locals, and this is a Dragon Link list. I think it's been a while since we had Dragon Link on the channel, so nice to see the return of this deck to its glory. Let's just run through the list, then we will cover the siding strategy and all the usual other information that Ollie has kindly supplied for us. So we've got one Red Eyes Darkness Metal and the Black Metal package, Triple Tracer, one Silver Rocket. I think this is still one of the more unusual ones to see. Then one Recharger, one Absoluta, one Black, one White, only one Starliege Safet here, one Brotor, one Levianeer, triple Noctivision, one Phalanx, one Destruction Sword. He is playing the Rose package and he's playing two White Rose, one Red Rose. Then there's one Flamboyant Guard, triple Chaos Space, triple Quick Launch, triple Unexpected Die. Interesting. Okay, so you can go from this into Flamboyant, and then Flamboyant can become any of your normal Dragon Link monsters, which is quite nice. Then triple Guard Dragon, one Reborn, one Ravine, one Lance, one Boot Sector Launch. So in terms of proper bricks, you've got the sword, the guard. I mean, these are kind of starters, so they're probably fine. So it's not too many, and then the boot sector, which is pretty nice. And I guess it depends on how you judge your Silver Rocket as well. So, yep, Dragon Link being able to just sort of put together random lists that don't have too many bricks in them is always quite nice to see. For the extra, two Striker, one Romulus, Linkross, Fibrax, Pisty LP, one Protector Whelp, one Hieratic Seal, one Union Carrier. He is playing the Saryuja Skuldred. This is an interesting one because the deck so easily goes into your Link 4s. You can just, modulate your hand if you want to try and end on bigger boss monsters that perhaps you didn't have access to. Maybe you didn't have a way into a Romulus play or something, so you couldn't set up your Tracer before. Maybe this just fixes your hand enough that you get to that position. One Borosword for the OTKs. One Herald, one Marcher, and one Savage. Again, this is it's the type of deck where there's not too much variation in the extra deck anymore. This is kind of the only thing that is a little bit more atypical there. For the side deck, triple Sphere Mode, two Lava Golem, one Pancratops, triple Cosmic, triple Dark Ruler, two Mine, and one Red Reboot. So he's definitely respecting the back row with the 6 outs to back row there, which is quite interesting to see. Because this deck kind of it can just sort of go off in a single turn if it needs to, in which case rebooting your opponent is always pretty nice. Same thing for the Dark Rulers, and you'll notice because he's not playing the triple Safet, he hasn't actually got tons of cards that he has to normal summon. There are so many special summon engines in this deck. Hence you get the option to play the Sphere Modes and the Lava Golems, which is really nice actually. I think that's a nice alternative. But definitely going in heavy on the I don't want my opponent to be able to respond with their monster effects. It's absolutely crushing the monsters or absolutely crushing the spell traps. So yeah, there's no evenly, which is sort of it's become a sort of midway between them where it baits and negate, but it doesn't necessarily resolve all the time, unless you want to count Mine. Which I suppose is the next closest thing there. So that's it for the list itself. Let's get some more information that Ollie supplied for us. So let's cover the siding strategy first. So one of the decks that he faced in this locals was Blue Eyes, with no changes going first, but going second, putting in the Lava Golems and taking out the Ravine and the Buster. Taking out the Ravine is an interesting one because Ravine sort of sets up your Absoluta play, so if you absolutely need to get a negate, then it's great. But then maybe when you're going second, you don't expect that to resolve so much, and you're investing 2 cards in activating the effect of your Ravine, so really not a nice thing to have when you're going second. That said, as we have seen in some previous events, if you are going second, sometimes establishing a Romulus is just enough to keep going, but your Romulus can just get the Phalanx anyway, so yeah, I think that's probably reasonable there. For the Invoked matchup, we have the Cosmic Cyclones and the Pancratops coming in when you're going first. You can banish their either their Invocation or their Meltdown. Both of them are really high value. Taking out the Dies and the Guard. That does mean you have slightly fewer starters into your traditional plays, but the deck has so many dragon names in it already, and you don't need to set up a like oppressive board when you go first against Invoked. So setting up a mid-range board is probably fine. For going second, lots of stuff here. So double Lava Golem, triple Dark Ruler, triple Cosmic, one Pancratops, all coming in. Interesting that the Cosmic remains. I imagine that's mostly for the invoked variants like Dogmatica, where you need to hit the back row and stop them from being able to disrupt you there. But then taking out, obviously, the Dragon Buster is going to be next to no value when you're going second. The Unexpected Dies and the Guard come out again. One of the White Rose Dragons comes out, one Tracer comes out, one Phalanx, and one Lance. So this basically means that your Romulus has to resolve the Ravine play now. So I guess it just depends on what you define as the most important target for your Romulus and how much advantage you're going to get out of that. For Paleo, he put in the Cyclones and the Pancratops and the Reboot. So it looks like sort of trap heavy decks are common in Ollie's local area, in which case it's great to have those in the side deck, and then obviously you have the option to take out the Buster where it's not going to be relevant, and once again the Unexpected Dies and the Flamboyant Guard. I was really hoping when we saw this that we'd actually see those stay in when you go second, but I mean ultimately you can't really complain if that's not an engine that is performing extremely well in those matchups. You just take it out. It's not an engine that we see a lot of other decks use, so it's fair enough if you look at it and you go, these 4 cards are just subpar in general. It's a good option that you can just take it out, but it adds that little bit of versatility when you're going first. If you have that Dragon Tuner extender on your board, it's always nice to have it. For some additional information on the deck, it's obviously a blind going first build. When you blind first, your typical end board is something like Hieratic Seal with a Savage and a Herald, and probably a Buster Lock as well, because you have so many extenders when you go first. That's sort of a thing that Unexpected Die does for you when you go first. It gives you that extra name. So you just have so many names to power through, and that puts you in a pretty decent position with the kind of board that people generally can't deal with. The win condition is literally locking your opponent out of their extra deck and having enough interruptions that they can't beat it. The hardest matchup, he says, is Dogmatica Invoked. The Window Lock is really strong. That deck is really consistent, and the amount of hand traps that it can play as well makes it very difficult to make a decent board against. Hence, you have these additional extenders in the main deck, if that's something that you're going up against a lot. Any matchups that are free, he says he gives every different matchup the same amount of respect, but most rogue decks are fairly easy to beat. Anything that can play a large number of hand traps or anything that can lock you out of playing is a problem though. Changes to the list, probably adds some hand traps into the main. He doesn't like weakening the deck's consistency, but you have to play hand traps to come out on top in today's meta. And would he play the deck again? Definitely he's going to be preparing for the LP hit though, which yeah, who knows when we'll see that. That might be down the line eventually. Shoutouts go to CGC and Chichester, his friends Ethan and Ross, for helping him build the deck. What do you guys think about this list? As he mentioned, no hand traps in the main. Is that the kind of thing that's going to be turning you guys off this list? What kind of changes would you make to it in order to bring it to your favorite level of competitive standing? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.